December 6th, 1:04 a.m. 2025. Hopefully you can hear me over the furnace since it's going right now. So I wanted to talk about being perfect and perfectionism. So I will say immediately that I do not think that I'm perfect. I do not believe that perfection is possible. I do not believe that an objective perfection can exist. I do think that people can do very well for themselves. I do think that some people are still more flawed than others. But I do not believe in perfection no matter who someone is or what kind of person they are. So, just getting that out of the way. When I was younger, I used to be a perfectionist. Now, some people have mistaken perfectionism as a belief that you're perfect rather than it's more of a people who are perfectionists are more people who strive for perfection, whether it's obtainable or not. So perfectionists are very nitpicky people. They're not happy unless something is perfect, even if they can't make something perfect. If it's, and here's the nitty-gritty of it. Everybody has their own idea of what is perfection, whether it's a person or a thing. So people might have different ideas of what a perfect house looks like. Some might think it's a yellow house, some might think it's a blue house. People might have different ideas of what a perfect person is like. Some people might think a perfect person would be an atheist. Some people might think they'd be religious, a specific religion. Different people have different ideas of what perfect would be. And that makes it subjective. So you cannot get everybody to... There's some things that you can get people to agree on, but not everything. And so it's never going to be entirely objective. Usually there are certain things that can guarantee a person isn't perfect, and that's easier to obtain than actually being perfect. But most people are flawed and don't try to be perfect, or even if they try, they're still flawed anyways. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk, I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm just saying that bluntly because that's just how it is. So perfectionism is more about trying to obtain perfection. So people who are perfectionists aren't happy unless something is what they feel is perfection. And that can vary depending on the person, like I said. So, but realistically, even though you can do very well for yourself as a person, or you can craft something really well and high quality, you can learn how, there is just simply no such thing as perfection. So there's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect house. They're really good quality people. Really good quality houses are really nice people. But perfect? No. I don't think people should strive to be perfect. I think there's a better way to be that doesn't involve, because in the search for perfection, to try to be perfect, people sometimes end up doing things that hurt them, like trying to hit that perfect weight. There's so many girls and women, even boys and men, who develop disorders because they're trying to strive for perfection in a way that isn't healthy for them. Sometimes they end up putting their bodies through hell trying to reach that perfect weight just so that they can look as attractive as they want to look. And sometimes it leads some people to think that they're not attractive or that they're not skinny even when they are. And so that's the thing, is that that's anorexia, that's bulimia. It starts with the perception that you're fat when you're not. It starts with the perception that you need to lose weight even if you're a decent weight. And so and then it leads to doing things that aren't healthy for our bodies. So, striving for perfection, sometimes it's okay to not be perfect. It's difficult when you're looking at your body in the mirror to see what others see, or to see yourself in a way where you don't hate yourself. Maybe not everybody experiences that, but I would think most people have insecurities, whether they admit to it or not. And I think it's normal and healthy to have insecurities. I think that everybody has probably some aspect of something they've done, or their bodies, or something they've said that they wish was different. And I'm of the opinion that that's perfectly normal. I don't think it's wrong to have insecurities. I don't think it makes people weak. I don't think they're suddenly crazy or some super weird person because they have flaws and they have insecurities. I think personally that people's imperfections are what make life very interesting, are what give people their personality and flavor. I think that it helps people to be different from each other when they're different and when they're not this perfectly honed example of a person. I think it's normal and healthy to have flaws, assuming that those flaws aren't like murdering people. Hopefully it's not murdering people. And I think that differences between people help to make life, well, it can make life more interesting when it's positive, but it could also have the negatives, where it can also make life very miserable. So, I would hope for people's sake that it's the former, not the latter, because the latter kind of sucks. But no one can truly escape hostility, and there's always going to be people with problems. So that's not something that can be avoided. In a perfect world, there we go again. In a perfect world, maybe everybody would have happy lives and no one would ever be abused and no one would ever be used and hurt and lied to and lied about. And I don't even know what to say about that. I wish that that was reality, but it's just not. So it's good to try to learn to figure out quickly who is trustworthy and who isn't, because you never know when somebody might have like hidden feelings of hatred that they're just not showing, or they might have desires that are very dark and not really something that you want to be dealing with. Everybody has to watch themselves, not just some people. There are dangerous people out there. So, perfection doesn't exist. Doesn't mean people can't strive to do better, though. I just hope for their own sake that striving to be better does not mean doing unhealthy things for themselves and their bodies, or their mental health, for that matter.